We're about to abandon the traditional system of money
Here
and
it is.
accounting and introduce a new one. And we're about to abandon the traditional system of money
Here
and
it is.
accounting and introduce a new one.
All right, everybody. Good afternoon. I've got Clay Clark back on. There is so much going on in July. And so I want to get Clay's perspective on what he sees going on, all the truths that are being revealed on the dark side. So Clay's got a ton of information as always. Clay, welcome to the show.
Hey, brother, thank you so much. And I've got a couple clips here that I wanted to play and then get your discernment if I can. I believe that there's very few people that know the precious metal space, that know the BRICS space, that's Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, that know the Great Reset space, that know the Bible space, that know how these puzzle pieces fit together like you do. So I'm going to pull this clip here, and I just want to get your feedback on it. So give me just 1 second here. I'm pulling it up here. Okay, here's the clip in question here, folks. And again, this is kind of a compilation I put out yesterday. And let me hit play here, Bo.
The Central Bank of the United States, the Federal Reserve, quietly hit a new record, more than $1 trillion in losses. At the end of 2023, the Federal Reserve had roughly $980 billion.
Okay, so again, Bo, my first question that I have for you, even though I'm a guest on your show, is why is it that nobody in the mainstream media is talking about how the U.S. Federal Reserve experienced almost a $1 trillion loss? And why is everybody talking about how tall Joe Biden is now?
Yeah, he put on a foot just in a matter of 5 days. So that's pretty spectacular. But yeah, the thing is, like I've talked before, the Federal Reserve note, it's not federal. There's no reserves, and a note means it's paper, okay? Because it's the world's reserve currency coming out of the United States, people need to understand this. This is so important. This Federal Reserve note, this goes back to Jekyll Island. This goes back 110 years. They've created this financial instrument to enslave and control humanity. And so basically the bottom line is, okay, in the United States, the Federal Reserve note, the US dollar, has been the staple for transactions for over 100 years. So everybody is entrenched because this is the generation's been born into the money system that we're currently using. And they honestly believe, this is so important, the world, specifically the United States citizens, honestly believe that this US dollar is going to continue to an infinity. It's just going to go on and on and on. We've talked specifically that the US dollar, it's no different than any other fiat currency. Every currency in history goes to zero, and so will the US dollar. However, there's two issues right now. It's the US dollar and the BRICS nations. And so the US dollar, they control the media with the dollar. And bottom line is they're using this money instrument to basically get the US citizens to believe that there is no other money. There's only the US dollar, and that's it. It's the world reserve currency. It will be the world reserve currency forever and ever and ever. And that's the news media's agenda. But the moment you go outside the United States, Andrew, when he travels, there's other countries, particularly the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China. All these countries are talking about gold and silver. You go to China, there are streets filled of stores selling 24 karat gold jewelry. And so Russia talks about gold. Everybody's talking about gold, which are basically outside of the United States financial system. So if you're in the BRICS or outside the United States, the news media is all about owning gold. But when you're in the United States, it's like this bubble that we're all living in. You need nothing but the US dollar.
It reminds me of very passionate New York Jets fans back in the day. I had a couple friends of mine that were passionate New York Jets fans. And even though their team wasn't winning and had no chance of winning, they believed this was the year they were going to win the Super Bowl. And it was like this reality distortion field. When they got together, they all believed that the Jets were going to win the Super Bowl. And so let me go back to this clip here again, folks. I'm just trying to bring you reality, bring you facts here so you can see this yourself, because this right here is some pretty profound stuff when you take the time to look at it. Here we go, folks.
In unrealized losses. Of course, those were the losses that normally you wouldn't really care about because they would have gone away had the interest rates declined sooner. But as the Fed keeps rates higher for longer, unrealized losses have been piling on virtually on a daily basis. In addition to this national debt crisis, the US appears to be on the brink of a massive fiscal dilemma. The higher the debt balance grows, right now it stands at $35 trillion, the less confidence foreign investors have in US debt because the possibility of a default increases. But of course, that's not all. Add to that more than $1 trillion in commercial real estate loans that will come due over the next 2 years. And when you add those three things that I just mentioned, you have a perfect storm on your hands.
Now, Bo, I'm showing multiple shows for multiple reasons. One, you're seeing quasi-mainstream shows like ITM Trading or Kitco or Petrova CPA. Steve Forbes is talking about the collapse of the dollar from Forbes magazine. You're seeing Andy Schechtman talk about it. You're seeing Robert Kiyosaki from the Rich Dad Poor Dad talk about it. You're seeing President Trump talk about it. You're seeing Kash Patel talk about it. You're seeing yourself talk about it. But yet you're not seeing the volume of mainstream media covering the idea that, A, we have massive debt, but now you're starting to see failing commercial loans at scale. Because with COVID, what they do? They did a lockdown. They encouraged people to learn to work from home, to no longer come to the office. Some of these office buildings, Bo, they have massive delinquency rates, and therefore these commercial building owners, they can't afford to make their payments to the bank anymore. So you're beginning to see more and more evictions, more and more vacancy. And for people out there that don't know this, a large percentage of regional banks, they are solvent because of their relationship with commercial loans, commercial building loans. So, Bo, nobody's talking about these things, and these things are happening simultaneously as Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. They're getting prepared here in the fall, again, under Putin's leadership. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, the BRICS countries, they're in the process of building a new payment system that is parallel to SWIFT or a competitor to the SWIFT payment method. They're introducing a payment system called mBridge. And mBridge allows a large basket of countries or a variety of countries to conduct trade without using the US dollar. And in fact, mBridge is not going to allow the participation of the US dollar. And here at the BRICS summit, the BRICS nations are planning to dramatically expand the number of BRICS countries. So my question I'd have for you, Bo, on this is what would happen if the BRICS nations introduced their version of SWIFT and stop using the dollar entirely for buying and selling, for trading, for buying and selling oil? What would happen?
It's not only what will happen, it will happen. See, that's the thing right now. We're getting into a time point that this is going to happen. In my heart, I truly believe this is going to happen this year, 2024. So the event is going to happen. There's no reason. How long have the Brazil, Russia, India, China, the BRICS been working on this system? I believe it's like 12 or more years. Is it not, Clay?
17 years they've been hoarding gold. 17.
Okay. And so they've been hoarding gold, and now they've been building up this BRIC system for 15, 17 years already. There's no way in heck that this is going to go unnoticed. There's no way in heck that they're going to build this financial system which parallels, I want to use my hands, like parallels the SWIFT system. Okay. So if the US dollar uses a SWIFT system, the BRICS is the exact same thing. What it means is for me to send Clay $100 or any amount of money, if I wanted to do that using the Fed wire system, okay, you have to use the Fed wire system to send money in the United States. Using the BRIC system, it's the exact same method. You're just using the BRIC system, and it's completely void of anything related to the Federal Reserve SWIFT system, which means that they're two identically parallel systems. And I want to play this clip, it's 1 minute, and this is Putin talking with Tucker about how stupid the United States is to weaponize the US dollar. And this will tie in directly what you're talking about, Clay. But Putin, who is he? Well, not only he's, the president of, or the top of Russia, okay, he is also the head of the BRICS. So this is what the head of the BRICS is saying, how stupid the United States is. So if you don't think they're going to act on this, you're foolish. People are, they've been working this for 15 plus years. This is going to happen. So let's watch this video. 1 minute. Here's what Putin says out of his own mouth.
To use the dollar as a tool of foreign policy struggle is one of the biggest strategic mistakes made by the US political leadership. The dollar is the cornerstone of the United States power, but they won't stop printing. What does the debt of $33 trillion tell us about? As soon as the political leadership decided to use the US dollar as a tool of political struggle, a blow was dealt to this American power. I would not like to use any strong language, but it is a stupid thing to do and a grave mistake. Look at what is going on in the world. Even the United States allies are now downsizing their dollar reserves. Seeing this, everyone starts looking for ways to protect themselves. But the fact that the United States applies restrictive measures to certain countries, such as placing restrictions on transactions, freezing assets, etc., causes grave concern and sends a signal to the whole world. Do you even realize what is going on or not? Does anyone in the United States realize this? What are you doing? You are cutting yourself off. All experts say this. Ask any intelligent and thinking person in the United States what the dollar means for the US. You're killing it with your own hands.
Thus, saith the Lord, my people, the central banks are moving out their monies from the banks. Do you think at this time that your money is safe? No, I tell you it is not, for this changing of the system is happening now. Thus saith the Lord. Look at back in the time of Pharaoh, did he have his money in banks? No. Did most of the kings that I anointed have their money in banks? No, for you have been fooled. Your constitution that was written many years ago stated in section 5, that all monies and usury should not be applied as part of your life and liberties, free to choose, and that you have freedoms to choose upon where you would like to put your money. Freedoms, my children, freedoms, this is all about your freedoms. You are coming in a time and season for great change. I tell you, that my kings and people had on the earth was my supply of money called gold and silver. Beloveds, this would be most beneficial to you, to do so. This is my currency, that I have put into the earth. This would be the time to now have this upon you. For I am flipping the system, and when I do, you will see my glory. For my light will penetrate into the dark places and will reveal my hidden treasures upon this earth. Light, revelation, justification, vindication, redemption, above all love, is coming in like a whirlwind. For you are seeing Putin in the news media, as I have set up this meeting to throw the Western kings down to their knees. This is the sign of the North American collapse of the dollar that will embark blackouts throughout the land now. Fear not, for I am always with you. If you abide in me, surely things will be fine with you. For the kings of the earth are falling now. This is my plan and my way for a brighter future in me for my people. Now is the time, now to pray and offer many sacrifices, fasting, to me, for this is not in vain but will surely save many souls. For that one lost sheep does surely break my heart, and I will go to the ends of the earth for that one that is lost. Be not weary, for the time is here and the seasons are changing for my remnant. What a joyous time this shall be. Look upon me, stay with me, for I am a brother that sticks closer than any man will. Your Savior, Jesus.
And Bo, the thing I would say on today's show, because I want to give people a lot of facts, but I also want to give you hope or action steps or things you can do that will help you move the needle. So what I'm going to do for a second, I'm going to pull up a spreadsheet for a second. I know the spreadsheets are probably not the most compelling piece of content one can look at. So give me just a second as I pull this up here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just call this reasons why people don't buy gold and silver. So this is what happens all the time, okay? So people go to, bh-pm.com. That's who I buy from, bh-pm.com. They go to Goldline, wherever they go, and then they have these questions. So question number one, they say, is gold liquid? They always ask, I say, well, is your house liquid? So let's type this here. Is your house liquid? So if you wanted to liquidate your house today and cash out of your house, folks, how long would it take you to get the money? If you had a house today, Bo, that's paid off, how long does it take you to have access to that cash? Many people tell me it's 6 months, 7 months. A lot of times it's longer. Sometimes it's shorter, but you get the idea. Now with gold, you can typically get a hold of your precious metals dealer, and typically within 7 days, you can have access to the cash.
Let me just add to that, Clay. You literally can go to your local coin shop, okay? You can take a piece of gold or a piece of silver, your local coin shop this afternoon. You can drop it off and they will give you cash or a check. Boom, right on the spot. Okay. Yep. So talk about liquid. It is actually it's extremely liquid. It's as liquid as going to the bank and cashing in a euro and swapping it for a US dollar. That's how liquid it is.
Now, people always say, is it a good investment? So my daughter here is 20 years old. And so I think about when I started buying precious metals, the price of gold per ounce in 2005, when I started buying precious metals, and I was advised to buy precious metals by a guy who owned a bank. Long story short, when I was buying precious metals in 2005, gold specifically, the price of gold was about $444 an ounce. That's what it was. Okay. So now, folks, we go to 2024. The price of gold per ounce right now is about $2,400. So what I'm saying is, Bo, you take, and sometimes it helps just to see this. I mean, we're talking about from 2005, $444 in 2005 to now it's $2,400, right? In 2024. Now you talk about, is a bank a good investment? Is a bank a good investment? I don't know the interest rate at your bank, folks, but I find that your interest rate will not keep up with inflation. It won't. And so, Bo, I want to get your thoughts on that, because again, to me, these are just very clear-cut differences that to me make buying and investing in precious metals as a way to serve as insurance for my hard-earned money. To me, it makes it a no-brainer. But I want to get your thoughts on that, because people always ask me, well, Clay, is it a good investment? I just showed you. But Bo, what are your thoughts?
Well, actually, it's two things. One, I want to talk about insurance, because you're saying investment. And yes, you can call it an investment, but honestly, what it is, it's an insurance policy. Now, you did reference that, okay? Because basically, what it goes back to what I said initially, all monies ever created by man ultimately go to a value of zero, okay? Just because the US dollar has been around for 111 years, it means nothing. It just means it's been around for 111 years. It doesn't mean it's going to stick around for another 111 years or another 1,000 years. It literally has just been around for 111 years, which means that history, by studying it, it's shown that every currency ever created by man goes to zero. And so will. History says over 4,000 years that dollar will ultimately go to zero. So what does that mean? So forget the investment side of it, which is still what you showed is fantastic. It went from 400 to 2,400, so $2,000 in a matter of 15, 20 years. That's fantastic. But we're talking an insurance policy. If the dollar collapses, as we're talking about what the BRICS are going to do, okay? So if the BRICS do what they're going to do, if God's going to intervene, and I'm going to remove the word if, I'm just going to put the word when God intervenes, when the BRICS do what they're going to do, you're going to see the dollar plunge 30% overnight.
Do you think at this time that your money is safe? No, I tell you it is not, for this changing of the system is happening now. You are coming in a time and season for great change. I tell you, that my kings and people had on the earth was my supply of money called gold and silver. Beloveds, this would be most beneficial to you, to do so. This is my currency, that I have put into the earth. This would be the time to now have this upon you. For I am flipping the system, and when I do, you will see my glory. Thus saith the Lord.
When God intervenes, when the BRICS do what they're going to do, you're going to see the dollar plunge 30% overnight. Okay, because that's how it's going to go down. It's going to be a sudden event. But more importantly, forget about gold going to 3,000. No, gold's going to go to initially to $4,000 probably in a single day. Then it's going to go to 10,000 within a very short window of time. Then it's going to go to 20,000. Then it's going to go to 30. It's going to hit those numbers that Jim Rickards was talking about. Go study Jim Rickards. This guy's a highly intelligent man, but he's talking $26,000 gold. Okay, so these numbers are all going to hit. They're all going to come because why? Gold ultimately is an insurance policy. It's really not an investment, even though it's been a very good investment, like Clay showed you. Wait till the insurance side of gold hits and silver. Holy mackerel, are you going to be shocked when you find out what your insurance policy just paid out? This is the funny part. And you say to a friend, hey, I bought some gold and silver. And they say to you like the real stuff, like that heavy stuff. Like people don't even understand the United States what gold is. Like, oh yeah, I own gold. I own a GLD. I own stock of it. People, if you own anything in the stock market on gold and silver, you don't have gold and silver because these are paper derivative contracts. Okay. So the only way, and Clay's going to expand upon this, the only way that you own gold and silver is, yes, that heavy stuff that's shipped to your house or shipped to a depository and you're holding it. Okay. That's what you want to have. And then the second thing you said was inflation rate. How things have expanded in price, okay? What I want people to think about the price. Those who own a home today, if you own a home today, 2024, Go back and check what your home was worth just before COVID, 2019. Okay. In a matter of 4 years, most homes in the United States have doubled in price. That's a 100% inflation rate, not 10%, not 20%. Okay. That's a nearly 100% inflation rate. So if they're telling you inflation's under 10%, no. If home values doubled in price in a matter of 4 years, that's a 100% inflation rate. That's what's going on in this world. Clay, tell me I'm wrong or expand upon that.
No, you're 100% right. And I want people to understand that, you and I, look at this very methodically. This is not an emotional thing. This is just a methodical thing, but it's going to happen. What is going to happen? De-dollarization is going to happen. So the third question I always deal with is, will the world recognize gold as valid currency? Well, folks, BRICS is introducing a gold-backed currency. And the next question is, well, will the world recognize your bank deposits as a valid currency? Well, the world is de-dollarizing, folks. Watch this. Here we go. This is the World Government Summit. It's Mark Moss, a financial expert, followed by a discussion from the World Government Summit. Here we go.
Been sent through the Enbridge system.
What we're seeing in the world today, I think, is we are on the brink of a dramatic change where we are about to, and I'll say this boldly, we're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one. And the new accounting is what we call blockchain. It means digital. It means having a almost perfect record of every single transaction that happens in the economy, which will give us far greater clarity over what's going on.
XRP Ledger is, world leading public blockchain, which was built for payments and issuing currencies. So it's a natural fit for CBDCs. We've taken that and basically providing a private version of that for the central banks.
Current form of money that we have today is obsolete. We've been using the same system for centuries. What we need is
the CEO by the name of Gilbert Verdian, who's the CEO of a company called Quant. For anybody out there who doesn't know, it's called Quant. For anybody out there, again, who hasn't been following this, Quant is the name of the technology that's going to be powering the central bank digital currencies. Listen to this.
Form of money that is fit for the future. Blockchain allows us to have smart money. Smart money allows us to program new types of logic, new types of functionality into money to do things that is really fit for purpose for the 21st century.
The nature of money is going to change quite dramatically. The old systems of trust and of ownership will have to adapt radically. Maybe the financial system will become so complicated as AI takes over more and more of the action that it will be just too complicated for the human mind. So how does a system functions when no human really understands it?
I expect that starting in the third quarter, some of those overexposed regional banks will start to take those losses to smooth out their earnings at year end. Besides a very deliberate possibility that many small to mid-sized banks will be hit with liquidity issues and without a bail-in or a bailout, however you want to call that.
Now, Bo, they are now talking about doing a bail-in, and under the Dodd-Frank Act, bail-ins are now possible. So if a bank is struggling financially because of decisions that they chose to make, so if your bank decided to take your hard-earned money and invest it in something that's not going well, they can now do a bail-in, and they can go into your bank account and take money out of your bank account to actually make themselves solvent. In fact, they're required to do so with the Dodd-Frank Act. Many people think the Dodd-Frank Act was signed to create bailouts. No, it was created to authorize bail-ins. And so my calls to action would be, one, if you haven't scheduled a consultation with a precious metals company that you can trust, you really need to do that. I would humbly submit that bh-pm.com has been a great partner of General Flynn, Kash Patel, many other wonderful people on the Reawaken Tour, His Glory, Amanda Grace, etc. Also, folks, we've got this thing called the Reawaken Tour, and we've got our final installment is October 18th and 19th, and we have people on the stage, such as yourself, Bo Polny, that they're not going to allow a guy like you, and this isn't a backhanded compliment, they're not going to allow a guy like you or a guy like me on the RNC stage. They're just not going to allow you to get up there on the RNC stage and talk about Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, programmable central bank digital currencies, RNA modifying nanotechnology. They're not going to let you talk about the Great Reset at the RNC. So if you want to see people that will talk about these subjects like Peter Navarro, Eric Trump, Kash Patel, General Flynn. You want to see Amanda Grace. You want to see Julie Green. You want to see Rudy Giuliani. You want to see Jim Brewer. You want to see Roseanne. You want to see Pastor Leon Benjamin. You want to see just an incredible lineup of speakers, Alina Habba. And the only reason we get together and do this is because we want to stop this thing called the Great Reset. And so if you want to know what's going on, it's a 2-day event. You can name your price. Every event we've ever done, you can name your price. It's Selma, North Carolina, outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. It's Selma, North Carolina, outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. It's October 18th and 19th. We have 70 speakers over 2 days. And again, folks, you can name your price. Every event we've ever done does sell out. It's going to sell out. This is our final one, event number 24. It's 2 weeks before the election. And this event, Peter Navarro, Eric Trump, General Flynn, they selected this particular location. They want to be out there in North Carolina, October 18th and 19th. So, Bo, I would encourage everybody, schedule a consultation with a precious metals dealer that you can trust and get those tickets for the Reawaken America Tour today simply by going to timetofreeamerica.com. If you want a little bit faster service, some people say, I want the fastest service possible. You can text my phone number, which is 918-851-0102. Again, that's 918-851-0102. And for anybody out there that wants me to be a little bit more bilingually sensitive, that's 918-851-0102. Bo, a lot of information, but that's about all I can pack into about a half hour there, sir.
Thank you, Clay. No, God bless you. God bless what you're doing with this tour. It's very exciting, actually. Every one of these tours are just wildly awesome. It's kind of fun that this will be the 24th tour or event in the year 2024. I believe there's no coincidences there. We're going to see what happens between now and the election. I'm telling you, fasten your seatbelts. And most importantly, if you've got an insurance policy, again, we're not telling you what to do, not financial advice. We are simply telling you that Clay personally owns gold and silver. I am telling you that I personally own gold and silver because in my heart, I know that the financial system is about to flip forever. The way we transact will change forever, and it will be so obvious by this Christmas. It'll be so obvious by this Christmas that you will either be, rejoicing because Kim Clement actually said, when Christmas says, I will make you happy. So I'm telling you, it's coming down the pipeline, whether you want to believe it or not. But if you own gold and silver, you are just going to be sleeping well because you're owning God's money. Haggai 2:8. The silver and the gold are mine, saith the Lord. Clay, thank you for being here. God bless you. I look forward to seeing you in October.
Take care, brother. Have a great day.
Yes, I'm so glad you came on today. This has been a treat. Thank you. This is exciting. What did you have anything else before we end?
Yeah, the only thing I can finish with is there's so much more. That's the thing is I've been doing this for probably, 12, 15 years already, but I've been putting this data together probably 4 or 5 years already. I can probably just finish on this one last thing. Okay. For those who really, it's like, wow, that's awesome. I want more. God actually told me, put a book together. So from the day I met the publicist to the day that it was published and available, it was 7 months to the exact day. I didn't realize this until they got shipped and they were received to the exact day from the day I met it was 7 months to the exact day. What I'm trying to show is God is using 7 in these end times all over the place. I've explained the number to you. It's a 4-2-1 calculation. That's why you've seen 24. That's why when Trump got arrested, it was August 24th.
Yes. It's a very significant day.
Extremely significant. When was Roe v. Wade overturned? June 24th.
Wow. That's so wild. Brayden, it's just wild. I'm talking to my son, y'all.
The book is mind-blowing because God showed me how to calculate it in the future. It's crazy, Brad. I'm going to send you a copy. You're going to read it. You're like, are you kidding me? No, there's eclipses coming in the future that are mind-blowing, that tie in with what just happened here in the United States. No one's talking about it. God showed me how to calculate. Yeah, no.
That ought to be a fun read.
Oh, no. Wait till you see how everything is perfectly timed out. So you can't stop what's coming.
Exciting. I'm so excited. I take it you are too. So it's like, wow. Oh, what a plan. Oh, what a planner. Huh?
Yep. God is amazing when you start putting the pieces together. And that's what I do. I count. So whenever the world gets crazy, I count. And the math keeps adding up. So all I find in my heart is peace.
He even has a book in his Bible called Numbers. You know, he loves numbers. Look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. At the end, I wrote the whole book. I'm like, what are we going to call it? He's like, very simple. He goes, Revelation. I go, I know that. He goes, what do you want? What's the next line? He goes, it's very simple, Bo. The good news.
I like it. It's good.
Because what is the Bible? Like, think about this, Brandon. What is the Bible?
The good news.
So why would Revelation be any different?
It's just been hard to understand for a lot of people. So, it makes it go, this is confusing. So, but wow.
Beverly Hills Precious Metals Exchange is a client-focused firm devoted to assisting our clients with precious metals. Our clients range from first-time to serious coin collectors and investors seeking to add precious metals to their investment portfolios. We are not interested in volatile investments, leveraged products, and intangible assets. With rising inflation and the devaluing of the dollar hurting middle-class families, investing in gold and silver ensures protection for your hard-earned money. Save the value of your money today by investing in gold and silver at Beverly Hills Precious Metals.